Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today Strategy Incorporated just filed an 8K and I am seeing some critical updates on their stock sales and important Bitcoin moves. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. Strategy Inc. is giving us a look at how much they've been selling their stock and buying Bitcoin. And the numbers here are quite large. Before we dive into the juicy details, let's quickly recap what Strategy Inc. is actually selling. They have quite a few different types of preferred stocks registered with the exchange, like the variable rate series of perpetual stretch preferred stock, and the 10.00% series of perpetual strife preferred stock. Of course, they also have their class of common stock, which trades under the ticker MSTR. It is good to know what they're dealing with before we look at the sales figures. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Strategy Inc. announced its latest update on sales under its At the Market or ATM offering program. This program lets them sell their stock into the market over time. For the week between the 15th of June and the 21st of June of 2026, they didn't sell any shares of SDASASESCATRK or STRD preferred stock. That means no new preferred stock was sold during that specific week. However, when it comes to their class of common stock, ticker MSTR, they did sell a significant number of shares. During that same week, they sold 27,14839 shares. This brought in a net profit of $335.5 million. This is a substantial amount of money raised from selling their common stock in just 1 week. Looking at the bigger picture, as of the 21st of June 2026, the total available for issuance and sale for all these securities is quite large. For STRF, it is about $1.6 billion. For STRC, it is over $17.5 billion. For STRIAC, it is $2.1 billion. And for STRD, it is about $4 billion. This shows they have a lot more room to sell these preferred stocks if they choose to. For their common stock, Mississippi TR, the situation is a bit different. As of the 21st of June 2026, they had a massive $25.4 billion available for issuance and sale. This includes a previously announced increase to their offering. It is important to note that sales under this increased offering can only start once the capacity under their existing offering is mostly used up. Essentially, they are holding back some of the new offering until they've sold more of what they already had available. This filing indicates very active sales of the MSTI common stock in the prior week to fund their operations and investments. Now let's talk about the Bitcoin. Strategy Inc. is also updating us on their Bitcoin holdings and purchases. For the week of the 15th of June to the 21st of June 2026, they acquired 520 more Bitcoins. The total cost for these acquisitions during that week was $34.9 million. With an average purchase price of roughly $67,068 per Bitcoin. Looking at their total Bitcoin holdings as of the 21st of June 2026, they now own a staggering 847,363 Bitcoins. The total purchase price for all these Bitcoins is around $64.1 billion, making their average purchase price about $75,651 per Bitcoin. This is a massive accumulation of Bitcoin. It is critical to understand that these Bitcoin purchases were made using the money they raised from selling their shares under the ATM program. So they are essentially converting their stock sales directly into Bitcoin. This is a really interesting strategy to watch, especially considering the recent news headlines about MSTR slumping and the company selling Bitcoin, which seems to be contradicted by or perhaps an update to that news with these new acquisitions. Strategy Inc. also mentioned their US dollar reserve. They set this up back in December 2025 to make sure they have enough cash to pay dividends on their preferred stock and interest on their debt. As of the 21st of June 2026, this reserve stands at $1.4 billion. This amount includes cash they expect to receive from stock sales that haven't fully settled yet. They plan to keep topping up this reserve to support the credit quality of their digital assets. Finally, Strategy Inc. wants to remind everyone that they maintain a dashboard on their website. This dashboard acts as a way to share information with the public, including details about their stock prices, Bitcoin purchases, and other important company metrics. They say it is one way they comply with their disclosure obligations. It is always a good idea for investors to check these official channels for information directly from the company. Now, looking at these results from Strategy Inc., it is clear they are actively managing both their equity and their Bitcoin holdings. The significant sales of MSTR stock in the past week suggest a strong need for capital, likely to fund their ongoing Bitcoin accumulation strategy. While the headlines have sometimes painted a picture of selling Bitcoin, this filing shows them continuing to buy. The large available capacity for preferred stock sales also indicates they have options if they need to raise more funds. They seem to be using the ATM program aggressively to fuel their Bitcoin purchases, which is a high stakes game. The risk here is always the volatility of Bitcoin, but their strategy seems to be a methodical accumulation. One thing to keep a close eye on is how they will manage their debt and preferred stock dividends with the established USD reserve, especially if they continue to pour more capital into Bitcoin. The consistency of their Bitcoin buying despite market noise is the main story here. Alright, that is my take on Strategy Incorporated's latest filing. What do you think about their continued Bitcoin purchases funded by stock sales? Let me know in the comments. If this deep dive was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for regular corporate filings breakdowns. The research tools I use and affiliate links to my broker are in the description below. They help support the channel. That is my take. Stay decoded. And for more insights like this, comment and subscribe, with our Discord linked in the description.